friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Happy December 1st. It is time to start December Daily. Be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss all of my December Daily videos. Today I'm so excited to share with you my foundation pages for 2020. I do not do a ton of work in advance because for me part of the fun on the actual day is still getting really crafty. And so I think I have 6 pages prepped. Doing a few pages in advance is one of the keys to, I think, finishing on time. I say that kind of in air quotes because it's, there's no deadline that you have to finish it by. I personally like to finish by January 1st. And, I know a lot of people have fun working on it the next year. I don't. I like to just mentally, I just like to have it done. I like to move on and close it on, January 1st and then not really come back to it until the following year. But so that for me is one of the ways that I can finish on time is using foundation pages so that if I have, a day where I just sort of have fear of the blank page, I can grab one of those foundation pages and finish it pretty quickly. But most of them I will end up changing a lot. I'm going to move them around. They're in no particular order. I'm going to end up changing quite a bit on the day of. So these are cork numbers that I got from Ali Edwards last summer. I think they were from the Good Old Days collection. What I might try to do is do some gold flecking on them. But I want to try it on a test one first. I had the idea after I had already adhered them down. And then another thing I probably will do is cut out like a little, the word 20 and then adhere it onto the number. So it'll say 2020. Also had that idea after I had already adhered them down. I think that's part of the beauty of foundation pages. Once you get kind of a first draft done, it gives you some more ideas. So this title page I also probably will not keep. I just wanted a placeholder for a title page. I've been so conflicted about title pages. I've had like 5 different ideas and then I start one and then I have a different idea. So I just did that for now, but I probably will change up my title page. And so I've just kind of adhered it really loosely with a little piece of adhesive that's kind of de-sticked that I just kind of rubbed on my sleeve, and then so it can pretty easily come off without damaging that decal because I do love that. Next I've got just a little hat. Well, I keep, actually that's just a page protector that I keep for like the holes spacing, sizing. This is a little half sheet that came in the December Daily main kit. They're little folder envelopes that I really liked. This is just super simple. Not really anything done to it, but I just put on the sizing because there's 2 things that I might do with it on that day. A 4x6 photo would fit exactly and go beneath that, the lip of the envelope. So it would just kind of look more infinite. So I've measured that out. So I'll either put a 6x4 portrait photo, or I've also cut that little insert that I measured the sizing for too. So just writing in the sizing is one way to kind of cut down on the time that it takes on the actual day. Obviously this is just, super basic and I haven't even done anything to it, but that just allows me to know what size to print in each photo. And then I'll probably put like a 4x8 photo on the back. This foundation page I was inspired to make after watching Ali Edwards Product Play 4, which is all about textures, triangles, and transparencies. So I am loving transparencies. I always am, but this year having the extra focus on it has been so fun. So I took my hexagon clear cut punch and punched out a bunch of hexagons in between 2 sheets of cardstock so that they can be sort of sandwiched in and then you don't see the back of the various hexagon transparencies. So a couple of these are pieces from this year's kit. And then that's a piece of printed acetate that I got from scrapbook.com. It's actually supposed to be like 4th of July, but it's just stars, so it worked. And then that green piece is from last year's kit. And then there's a couple of just clear pieces of acetate and vellum. So for the actual day, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do. I've got a couple of different ideas. So I may just put a simple 4x6 or a 5x7 photo on the top. The other thing I might do is create a flip up that follows that bottom line of the hexagons. So it would fit in perfectly and then flip up. So that'll give me lots of space for journaling and photos if I have a lot to say or a lot of photos that day. If I use it on a day with very little, I could try to pry out that piece of vellum. It's actually inkjet vellum, and then I could print on that. So if I didn't have a lot that I needed to say that day. So I like to keep these things flexible enough that when I get to it, I can do whatever I need to do to tell that story appropriately. I could put the flip up on the back. I'm not sure yet. And then I'm gonna definitely doctor those up, but I wanted to leave those a little bit more blank to do whatever to do what the spirit moves me to do on the day that I use it. This page right here, I have a process video for coming. So it's pretty simple too. I mean, you can kind of just figure out how to make it based on this, but it's a bunch of triangles that initially I was wanting them to fold out into a hexagon, or actually it would be like a 9 or 10 sided polygon. But then I realized because the brad has to be inside, it kind of makes them overlap into more of like a windmill type shape, which I actually really liked. So these, I won't get too much into it because I do have a separate process video for it. But on the day of, I probably will print my photos in black and white because there is so much color happening, and then punch them out into that triangle shape so that they will fit into the stack. So it's just a brad on the back that I could easily remove. And then that's actually just the lyrics to Jingle Bells. So that can be where my journaling will go. It's just sort of a placeholder. And then I printed my number just so that I could remember where I wanted the number to go, but I very well may not use that on day 14. I just picked a random number that I hadn't used yet. So in terms of what I'll probably do, I could put a title on the top. I don't like to just pick generic Christmas words. I mean, they usually work and they will apply, but I like to pick, words that at least sort of apply to the story I'm going to tell that day. And since I don't know what story I'm going to tell that day, I wanted to leave that blank. So I could cut it out with my Cricut or try to hand do it. I don't know. We'll see. Next page is tags. As you can see, I love luggage tags. I love mixing sizes up. And these are, well, 4 of them are on brad so that I can put photos or journaling behind there. And maybe on top too. I probably will take one of these off in favor of a tag shaped photo. But this gives me kind of the creative template that I'm working with, so I know, what color palette I'm working with, and it just gives me kind of a baseline of what to do when I get to that day. Story number 17, which it probably will not, it may or may not actually be day 17. But so it's just a little pocket that I sewed onto a transparency. So these are embossed. This is a stamp that came in the December Stories by the Month kit from Allie Edwards. And I embossed it with some copper embossing powder. I wish I could go back and redo it because since I did it, you can see it's kind of messy and smudgy. I learned a new tip from Laura Wansick and actually the person who runs my local craft store to use anti-static before you emboss, and that will get rid of the little clingers on and make it look a lot cleaner. So I wish I had known that before I did it because I've already tried the anti-static tip once and it works great. So this is patterned paper from the 2020 kit. That's the transparency that was an add-on from last year, I think. Might be this year, I don't remember. And then this is also just very loosely adhered on. This is one of the black chipboard numbers from the kit that I also embossed with copper embossing powder. And then the top of the pocket, I sewed on some vellum that I just folded over the top just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension. On the back of this tag, so this is it's 4 inches wide, and then this is actually 7 inches tall. So what I probably will do is cut it down to 6 inches. I would still kind of like how much it would stick out even at 6 inches. That way I can adhere a 4x6 photo onto the back and then just cut off the corners there so it'll match the size of the tag. And then this tag I probably will use for journaling. I may add another tag. I may tie them together or as a little booklet or replace the ribbon. There's a lot that I might do when I get to that day, but it at least gives me kind of the framework that I'm working within. This next page is credited to Tajana Gordon and the beautiful kind of mixed media almost layout that she made in the product play for. I love how she uses inks and paints and texture and is not afraid to get her hands messy. I love that. I'm the same way. So this is a take on the page that she made in the product play for, and I kind of split her idea into 2 layouts, the one on the left and on the right. And so this is Tim Holtz Distress Oxide in Forest Moss, Shabby Shutters, and Pumice at the top. In her amazing spread that she made, the words were at the bottom, and then she did this really cool window that swivels over a photo. And if you have not purchased the product play workshop, I highly recommend it. You should definitely go check it out. Her tutorial is amazing, as are all of the women on there. But I liked the swivel idea, but I thought this texture was so cool, kind of the ombre, that I wanted to keep it a little bit more flexible when I get to that day. I'm not sure what I want to do with it quite yet, but I wanted to see more of it. So I took the swivel idea and then made it its own page on the right. So I've got some green tree pattern paper that I think is going to look really good with this all is bright layout, and then I might use it on a day to talk about Christmas lights or something else. I'm not sure. So this is a take on the swivel window that she created. I thought it would look really cool as an ornament, and so I've got a process video on this one too. To the texture on that ornament was really, really fun. It used alcohol inks to create that texture, and then a stencil. So I'll probably put, that's actually 5 inches wide. So I'll put something on the back of it, maybe a full page photo, and then a photo that faces forward that'll be covered by that little window pane. My last kind of just super simple, something that I do to just like remind myself of the idea that I had, is I just put that giant cork number in a full page page protector. And obviously that's not really a foundation page, but it gives me the framework that I'm going to be working in. So I talked about gold flacking at the beginning on cork, and I think that would look really, really cool. So my idea is to overlay it on top of the photo and then cut off the edges. I think that would look really great on a full page photo with maybe just some white space in the lower right corner. So I may or may not do it on day 3, which is why I haven't actually adhered it. It's just to remind myself when I get to it that that's one creative idea that I have. So those are my foundation pages. As you can see, I really keep it pretty simple. I like to keep things really, really flexible, so there's not a ton done to these. So follow along with me in December as I bring these and other pages to light. I'm so excited to do this project with you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.